Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patience and for letting me to applaud myself. This is Kevin Poon from the Center for Responsible Tourism, and today's podcast will be on a topic which I shared in a little sharing about 40 minutes yesterday. And the topic is responsible wildlife viewing or wildlife watching. Most of my podcast is related to sustainable tourism topics, and so tonight, the topic is about how wildlife viewing or wildlife watching can be made more ethical, more responsible. Whale watching, mountain gorilla viewing, dolphin watching, going to places where you can watch wildlife has been a very popular tourist activity, from Galapagos to Komodo National Park to Bwindi Forest in Uganda, to Rwanda, mountain gorilla viewing. We have many places in the world where you can go and watch wildlife, whether the wildlife is penguins, dolphins, giant tortoises, mountain gorillas, whales, and so on and so on. In the last maybe 1-2 decades, the tourism industry fortunately has woken up to the idea that wildlife tourism can be and should be more responsible. And we have seen many places beginning to have regulations, code of ethics, code of conduct to educate tourists on the things that they should be doing and the things that they should not be doing. The cessation or the stopping of certain activities that used to be present, particularly those that make wildlife entertain tourists. What is responsible wildlife viewing? What is ethical animal tourism? We have now reached a stage in the tourism industry where, by and large, the local people, the businesses, and also the tourists, the main stakeholders in the tourism industry, have come to the realization that we have to be more ethical to nature. Many tourism activities depend on nature, including flora and fauna. And so if we don't start to pay attention to what our activities that we do as tourists may have on wildlife, may have on the plants and the animals, we may one day actually live to regret it. So in certain parts of Southeast Asia, elephant tourism has been banned. There are places that has stopped or strongly discouraged such activities. A total ban may not be possible, but what we're saying is that that the governments in a few countries in Southeast Asia has discouraged the use of wildlife like the elephants to entertain tourists. In some cases, there is a straightforward ban, and this is all good for the tourism industry. While there are certain repercussions, like what are you going to do to support or to help the people whose livelihoods revolve around wildlife tourism if a straightforward ban is carried out. Most of the time, the discouragement or the banning of wildlife tourism or the banning of wildlife tourism that is being carried out in a way that is deemed unethical is largely good and positive. We are now seeing more and more people waking up to the idea that tourist activities that is using wildlife needs to be more responsible. So now we have a charter that is talking about responsible whale watching, where one or two of the things that they talk about is how not to approach the dolphins and the whales when you get closer, and how not to follow them too closely. So we have come to a point in the tourism industry where the different stakeholders in the tourism industry have come to realize that having more ethical wildlife tourism is good for everybody. It's not just good for the animals, it's also good for the local people, it's good for the environment, it's good for nature, and it's good for tourists. And so it's a win-win-win-win scenario where we can prolong the lives of the animals and we can sustain the different kinds of tourist activities that come into contact with flora and fauna. Join us on our virtual tours. We started doing this kind of real-time live tours 4 months ago. If you haven't been to our website, you go Google and you type the Center for Responsible Tourism Singapore. Be a friend of the CRTS, be our friend. Send me an email and we have free educational resources, and we have paid online courses which you can consider taking. So this is a short podcast on ethical or responsible wildlife tourism. Till the next time, I shall see you. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.